welcome to Trigger Alerts. My name is Andrea. If you haven't seen this face before, I welcome you. If you have, welcome back. As you can see from the channel's name, we are going to be talking about some triggering topics. If you are thin-skinned, please move along. This is not the place for you. If you are just going to come to be triggered, to be rude, to not listen to other people's experience, I got something for you. Hold on. I want you to take your amazing triggering comments, put them in one of these. Bye-bye. Now, for the rest of you guys who wants to get down to this problem, hear other people experience, see how we can solve this issue in our community, please stick around, hit that subscribe button, click the bell because you definitely want to know when I upload videos. Let's get into it. Before I start, a little disclaimer. When I talk about these issues in our communities, when I reference a particular race, religion, group, heritage, culture, etc., I do not speak for every single person in that group. I do not represent those groups. Not everyone is going to experience the things that I'm going to list. That's why I encourage people to leave a comment and tell us your experience. I don't want people to feel like I'm standing up or trying to be this representative for people. I am not. I am speaking on things that I have encountered in my personal life, in my conversations, be it in Black chat groups, African chat groups, professional chat groups, family conversations, friends, co-workers, etc., etc. Okay? So please don't come just to be triggered. Having said that, if you haven't watched the first couple of clips that I made, please do. I am going to leave a link in the description box below. This topic is about African and the African American community rift. This is clip number 3, and it is going to be focused on my experience. I am going to talk about 3 experiences that I've had. One had to do with a major YouTuber. She talks a lot about Black empowerment, Black women. And one day I was watching her video. She was making a content, or I think it was a reaction video to a guy on Instagram, an African guy, who posted something about his woman who worked up to the day. I think she worked up to the day she gave birth, or the day before she gave birth, something like that. But the woman actually worked most of her pregnancy. I don't know, something like that. So she was commenting on how Black women are not protected, and this Black man was proud to work his woman like a mule. And she did 2 things that some Africans feel like are offensive. She went into this African accent. There is no African accent because Africa is a continent. Every time you try to mimic and you don't know where that person's coming from, you will be wrong. That's just it. Every country in Africa has a distinct accent. Then she flat out called the guy a monkey. So I reached out to her low-key. I think it was on Messenger. I reached out to her and I said, hey, I'm not sure if you're aware, but you did do these 2 things that are really racially, insensitive to some of us in these communities. And she replied back to me. She said, I'm a content creator, and if you don't like my content, move on. And I remember saying, I did not critique your content. I pointed out that you repeated racial slur. And she commented back to me and said that you should hear my Jamaican accent. You should hear my Irish accent. Now, What do you guys think the difference is between Africa, Jamaica, Ireland? Continent, country, country, right? So again, you cannot mimic an entire continent accent. Well, except Australia, because that's a whole nother story. But at least an African continent, right? You cannot mimic the continent of Africa's accent because there are multiple countries in it, and each country has different accents. But I did not want to fight with her, so I left that part alone. And I said to her, what about the monkey part? And then she said to me, she replied and said, when people leave me long comments, I usually don't read them. I just came through it. And I was like, wait, am I dreaming? Because the comment you are replying to has the monkey part in it. I literally said, what about the monkey part? It's in it, right? But she totally ignored it and moved on. So she said something about, her content creating page. And I said, okay. And then she came back and said something else that I cannot remember. But I think it had to do with me moving on and just, going to find somewhere else. But I remember saying to her, I feel like you want me to say something. I just don't know what to say. As a Black woman watching you, supporting your platform, I heard you repeat or racial slur against people in my community. And that's why I reached out to you. It had nothing to do with your content. But I also understand that it's your platform. So I get it, right? But a week later, this lady tried to do a commentary on a TV series that had this Nigerian lady and a non-Black man falling in love with her. Well, the man was obese, or the man is obese, and she was talking about how Black women are portrayed to have these lower standards. And a bunch of Africans came out and said, no, don't fight for us. We have no issues with the series. Leave it alone, ABC. So some African Americans were shocked. They were like, what? These Africans are desperate, right? And I remember they are desperate to be on TV, one said. And I replied to her, this African American girl. I replied to her and I said, you must not know anything about the African culture, because we have an outlet. Like, African movies, it's a huge industry, boo-boo. Like, these men and women that are acting in Africa are rich from these movies. We talk about our cultures. We talk about our own issues in our movies. So we're not desperate to be on TV. But I wish I could have gone further to tell people why some of us didn't feel like this lady was an ally. We just watched you insult us on national platform just last week. You never addressed it. You never apologized. You never even said you were wrong. You didn't even want to contemplate it. And then all of a sudden, when you feel like you want to group us as Black people, you're just gonna group us? No, you cannot, because these kind of hurt live on when they are not talked about. And I regret not saying that to her when she was making this commentary. I honestly did regret not saying that to her, but I wanted to point that out. The second point I want to talk about happened where I was in this African chat group and an African girl posted a question during the George Floyd protest, and she asked, should Africans stand in the fight with African Americans against inequality? And a bunch of Africans came out and said, we understand why they're fighting. We wish them good luck, but no, I'm not going to fight. Some did say we should, but I'm not going to. And I kept thinking, why? 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 And then finally, this African girl said, she said, I will not take the time out of my life to stand next to an African American person to fight against inequality just so Monday morning they are the ones mocking me, laughing at me. And I remember thinking, there you go. These hurts, when they happen, when they are not talked about, we are hurting each other on a bigger scale. And we don't even know that, because then we get to wonder, why are we not joining hands as Black people and fighting this fight? But there's hurt in our communities. And this is why I wanted this channel. This is why I wanted us to have a place where we can just talk about this issue a little deeper, not just rage insults at each other. The third one I want to talk about had to do with an online conversation, online, and it was in a Black professional group. So it was just Black girls. And this, well, not just Black girls, Black people in general. This African American girl posted that she was at this hospital working, and her CNA, she was a nurse, and her CNA came out of one of the patient's room, and the CNA was upset because the patient used the N-word. And the supervisor was there when the CNA was telling her story. So the supervisor said, you should have told him, the patient, that this N-word would have left him lying right in his poop, and I will have backed you. So the supervisor was non-Black. So she did not realize that in her attempt to defend this girl, she said the word, right? So the African American girl said that she confronted the supervisor privately. The lady apologized, and the lady seemed sincere. So a lot of people were commenting on what they think, the girl should do. But there was this one African American girl who made a comment, and she said, I bet you the CNA was African. And so I asked her, I said, why would you think that? And she said, because in her experience, Africans don't usually get offended by the N-word. Well, first, per the person who posted it, the CNA was upset. Now, when the supervisor said it, the CNA wasn't upset then, right? So that's where that whole thing came from, when she said she feels like it was an African person. So she said usually in her experience, it does not affect us, that word. Well, she's kind of right, and there's a reason behind it. Again, I don't speak for every single African person. In my experience also, most of us, or at least the ones I've encountered, are usually not hurt by that word. We are hurt to a certain degree, but it's not as deep for us because we understand the logic behind what that person's saying to us by repeating our word. One of the reasons why I feel like we don't, or at least some of us don't feel hurt, is because when we come here, we are not, or we don't feel like we are accepted into the African American community. We are not. We don't feel like, some of us, we don't feel like African Americans accept themselves as people of African descent, So there's this rift where we feel like we're not accepted, and we feel like they feel like they're better than us because they've been over here, right? So they don't think that they are Africans or of African descent. So what happens is, because we don't feel like that, because we don't feel accepted, right? When that word that is targeted at that group is used on us because we look alike, it hurts, but not on a deeper level, if that makes sense. I hope I'm making sense trying to explain this, right? Please. If I'm not, let me know in the comment section below. But I think I am. Like, we don't feel like, at least a lot of us don't feel like we're accepted. You know, you can come from Africa, be a United States citizen, and you will be a United States citizen of African descent. You are not an African American, if that makes sense. And I think that's one of the reasons. Now, having said that, those are 3 experiences. I am going to stop here. If you have any other experience you want to talk about, leave a comment below. If you have any other topics you would like us to talk about, leave a comment below and I will get to it. Now, having said that, I thank you guys for watching. If you stay, please subscribe, hit that notification button because I am going to do videos at least twice a week. Now, hope you guys have a good day. Remember to be safe. Live your best extra life no matter what you're going through. Deep breath, take a step back, and push forward. All right, I'll see you in the next clip. Bye-bye.